Hello, and welcome back to another creepy and true tale. This one, a lesson in honoring our deceased loved ones' wishes. Tonight's tale is about dear Auntie Bev and the nieces that she adored. Auntie Bev was a woman of considerable wealth. She had never married. Smart woman. And never had children. So her girls were her brother, her only siblings' children. Her three nieces, Teresa, Patricia, and Catherine. Now, Auntie Bev, while she adored all three of them, had a special connection to Catherine. Catherine was the youngest and was always being picked on by her sisters. She was also often left out of their activities. So Auntie Bev decided to take Catherine under her wing. As the girls grew, they always turned to Auntie Bev for those expensive gift requests, expensive trips, those first cars. And Auntie Bev was always happy to provide. But Catherine was always modest and never asked for much. So Auntie Bev, throughout the years, tucked away money and different things that were equivalent to the things that she had given to her sisters. And at a point, she was going to give Catherine all of these things. Well, the girls, of course, grew into adulthood. Teresa and Patricia eventually got married, had their own families. But Catherine followed in the footsteps of Auntie Bev and remained single and childless and doing whatever she wanted, enjoying life. When their father and mother passed away, Catherine moved in with Auntie Bev. Patricia and Teresa tended to their own lives and grew more and more distant as time passed. Unfortunately, Aunt Bev developed an aggressive form of cancer in her early 70s. And her favorite niece, Catherine, was at her side to take care of her. Now, Auntie Bev took this opportunity to get her affairs in order, divvying up her properties, her artwork, her money, investments. Like I said, she'd done very well for herself. But there were some items that she held very close to her heart, and that was her jewelry collection. Now, it wasn't a lot, just enough to fit in a jewelry box, but the pieces were very rare, very, very expensive, worth more than all of her properties combined, especially her brooch collection that she wore in honor of her mother. Auntie Bev had traveled the world collecting these pieces. So they were quite important to her. So, of course, she was going to leave them to her favorite, Catherine. As Auntie Bev declined, she knew the end was coming close. She had Catherine call her sisters to come by. And they did, begrudgingly. And Auntie Bev handed each of them an envelope and gave them instructions that the jewelry case was specifically for Catherine. No one was to touch it or remove any of the pieces. The girls said, okay. But of course, they had seen these pieces throughout the years, so they knew their value. And while they didn't tell Auntie Bev, both Teresa and Patricia had their eyes on some of those pieces in that jewelry box. And when Auntie Bev passed away with only Catherine by her side, Teresa and Patricia were quick to come by to grieve with her. But while they were at the house, they decided to slip a few of those pieces of jewelry from that box. Won't be missed. Or so they thought. Now, Catherine was in the midst of grief and planning for Auntie Bev's services. So jewelry was the last thing on her mind. But a few days after that visit from Teresa and Patricia, late in the night, there's a frantic knocking at the door. And Catherine cautiously approaches. She looks out and she sees it's her sister Patricia, looking disheveled, even frightened. Catherine opens the door, asks, "What happened?" And Patricia says, Auntie Bev, Auntie Bev, I woke up and she was sitting on the edge of my bed. And she told me if I didn't return these pieces to you, I would never get another good night's sleep. Take it. I won't be at that funeral. And she turned and went out the door. And Catherine opened her hand. Then she saw that there were 3 rings that Auntie Bev particularly loved. She thought nothing of it. Maybe Patricia's just grieving. But she returned the pieces to the jewelry box. She didn't think anything else about it until 3 days later when Teresa showed up on the doorstep, frantically knocking. And Catherine goes to the door and she opens it. And Teresa has a look of fright on her face. And in a baggie, Catherine can see it's Auntie Bev's jewelry. One of her brooches, especially that she loved, is in it. And Teresa is handing the bag with a shaking hand. Take it, take it, take it now. And Catherine opens her hands and she takes the bag. She says, dear sister, what's wrong? And Teresa tells her, Auntie Bev has been showing up at my house, in my bedroom, pacing back and forth, not saying a word, just staring angrily. She's been haunting my children, scaring them in the middle of the night. They wake up screaming. Finally, my husband told me, I don't know what you did, but you better fix it or we're leaving. So, of course, she gathered up the jewelry that she had taken and brought it straight to Catherine. But Teresa thought she was slick. She tried to keep one of the brooches. And before she left, Auntie Bev made sure Catherine got that one back too. As Teresa was turning to leave, she suddenly clutched her chest and, oh my goodness, and lifted up a bloodied hand. The pin on the back of the brooch that she tried to sneakily keep pinned to her dress had come undone and had started stabbing her in her breast before she could get away. She ripped it off and threw it back at Catherine and screamed while running down the driveway, I won't be at the funeral. Don't worry, Teresa. I don't think Auntie Bev wanted you there anyway. So Catherine closed the door and returned all of Auntie Bev's jewelry to the jewelry box, took a seat, and laughed to herself. Oh, my dear Auntie Bev, always looking out for me. Take this as a lesson. Make sure you honor each and every one of your deceased loved ones' wishes, or they might just come back to make sure the deed is done.